Welcome everybody to Q&A with GHSA. I am Marvin James, the Director of Media Relations, and this is Executive Director Dr. Timothy Scott. And we want to be able to ask you or have you ask us questions, and we answer them the best of our capability because we want to be transparent with you. Now, Dr. Scott, can you talk about why this is important that we have this series here?
Yeah, thank you, Marvin. I appreciate it. A reason we want to have this series is just try to answer questions and discuss things that are going on with the GHSA and make sure people have an opportunity to view it, opportunity to reach out to us, ask questions, get clarification. So this is just another venue to try to make that happen.
Now, we'll be leaving that link for you on our social media as well as GHSA.net, so you can go to the Google Doc and ask a question, and we will answer it here on this video series. The first question that we have is about the PSR, that is our postseason rankings, and the current system uses power rankings for playoffs. However, all 1 and 2 seeds from each region get an automatic 1 through 16 ranking and will be a host team. However, if a region, let's say 8AA, has 2 powerhouse private teams that finish 1 and 2 in the region and also rank that in the state rankings as well, then that region has no teams necessarily guaranteed a spot in the top 16 and bumps these really good teams down in rankings. What can be done to remedy this, and why should one region have 2 private schools in the region when some regions have no private schools at all to deal with?
Well, the question there is talking about what we are currently doing with our PSR. And what we're currently doing can't be changed because it was voted on by the executive committee, and it's part of what we're doing in a 2-year reclassification cycle. Now, moving forward, that could be changed a little bit where a team could be allowed to take a place if a region champ is hosting a game that the next highest seed could take part of that. And then, of course, there's 2 sides to that coin, Marvin. There's one side that says, hey, that's going to guarantee somebody from a region that's going to make the playoffs no matter where they're ranked with a PSR. But then the other side of that coin is, are we going to take a team that may be ranked very low or maybe not even in the top 32 and give them a high spot? And that's just up to the committee to discuss and talk about. We had some great discussions about that with the reclass committee already, and so we'll continue to work towards that. Now, as far as having multiple powerhouses in a region, a lot of times that's geography. And we look at things, and then sometimes the office sets a region and sets it up, and then due to appeals, they get changed through the appeals process. So we'll just have to look at numbers and see where we are when that time comes, and then hopefully when we get them set, we can keep them as balanced as we possibly can. The office's goal here for the GHSA is to make sure that all our regions, we try to make sure that they have this close. All of them won't have the same number of teams, but relatively close, and they're not lopsided. But we all know as we go through the process, sometimes that gets changed, and so we'll just see where it takes us.
Okay, well, October 5th and 6th, we had the big proposal that was passed with PSR. Can you explain that a little bit and how that will benefit the GHSA going forward?
First of all, tip my hat to Dr. Kurt Miller and the reclassification committee for the work that they have done, and the executive committee for the questions they asked, the research that they did. But what we're looking at doing in the future is every region has a region champion. Region champion will get to host a first round playoff game. Every other team after that is ranked by the PSR's top 32 teams. Right now, Don Core has taken that at the direction of the reclass committee and is looking at different scenarios with the current formula that we have. And currently right now, our formula is, I believe winning percentage is 35%. And if I say this wrong, Marvin, they can go to the GHSA right. Constitution and look it up, but it's 35% for that, and then your opponent's winning percentage, I believe, is 35%, that's 70, and then the opponent's opponent, I believe, is 30%. So those are the 3 categories that we have now. But Don is taking it and running it from last year's football schedule, and he'll run it off of this year's softball and volleyball schedule just to see if we tweak the formula a little bit, what does that do? And then he's going to share all of that later in the fall as we set up our regions with the reclass committee to see if they want to keep it the same or do you want to tweak it a little bit. So that's what we're doing right there.
Okay. And one of the things why the whole PSR was passed is because it's trying to get the better teams in the postseason, correct?
Absolutely. Our goal here is to make sure the Elite Eight is the actual Elite Eight, or the Final Four is the Final Four, and the best two are the best two in the bracket. And what we're trying to keep from doing is having the best 2 or 3, 4 teams meet in the first or second round.
Right. And there's been some instances where in region play, teams that were 8-2 and 7-3 didn't even make it because they weren't in the top 4.
And that is true too. Some regions are very strong in different activities. So this gives an opportunity for a region. If you have 5 or 6 really strong teams, all of your teams could possibly make the playoffs. Where if you're a region and you're not very strong in that particular sport, you may only have one team that makes it.
Okay. And I guess going on with the reclass, what is the next direction with the reclass right now? Where are we at?
So right now we have voted on the new cycle, which is going to be very similar to what we've had now. The difference is instead of just using PSR for the lower classifications, we're using it for every classification. And the region champs are the only ones that are guaranteed to host a game.
Okay.
All right. So next we wait on numbers. That comes from the Georgia Department of Education. We hope to get those numbers towards the end of October, maybe the very 1st of November, but we'll just have to wait and see when they get released. And then once that's released, our office puts together the regions and looks at the FTE and makes the classifications. And then from there, we share that with everybody, and then the appeal process starts. So then the teams can say, hey, you know, we need to play down, or we want to play up, or we'd like to move to this region, you know, whatever that they see coming, and they get to come and appeal in front of the reclass committee.
Okay. We're also going to a 7 classification. We're getting rid of the.
Yeah, well, we've kind of had 7, but we're doing single A Division I and single A Division II is going to be single A and double A.
Okay.
And then what was Division II will be 3 and so forth on up, and it'll be 7. So essentially now we have single A Division I, single A Division II, and then we have double A, triple A, 4A, 5A, and 6A.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, I think that wraps it up for this first edition of Q&A with GHSA. If you have a question, please feel free to go to ghsa.net or any of our social media pages and fill out the Google Doc form. Ask your question. You can remain anonymous. That's fine. And we'll do our best to answer it right here on the next video series. Thanks for joining us, and have a wonderful day.